Hi everyone, it's Raquel Bowman and today I'm here sharing a new layout for the Pink Paislee blog. The theme for this week is actually sequins, washi and ribbon. So in the new Turn the Page collection there is these gorgeous new ribbon packs with spools of ribbon. There are, like some of the other collections have had, the washi booklets. This one's a 6 by 12 inch booklet with 3 sheets, and then there's a sequin pack as well with some really gorgeous little designs. So my focus for this page today obviously is to use those products, and my subject of my page is actually a little bit like a journal entry for myself. Back when I started scrapbooking, we used to call them a book of me layout. I'm not sure what they're called now, but I use, if I'm scrapbooking a photo of myself and I'm using it more as like a therapy purpose, you know, that jotting it down, getting that thought down, like a diary entry. And what I'm also going to feature and show you on this layout is a little cute and fun way to hide some journaling. So this page did contain some things that I didn't want, I suppose, everyone to be able to read, but I wanted to document down. So that was my sort of motivation behind the subject of this page. And the quote that I found on that cut apart paper 1 said something like, you are stronger than you think, which is a perfect sort of quote for what I was going to be journaling about. So the background you'll see is this gorgeous floral cut file design, and that was taken from B, I hope I've said her name right, B's My Shiny Studio site, and it's a free cut file which I've linked in this blog post for Pink Paislee. And what I decided to do was I looked for a pattern paper within the collection that had a gorgeous sort of gradient striped look design, so that it looked like I'd backed the floral pieces sort of individually, but all I did was stick it onto a pattern paper. So the hard work was sort of done for me with the pattern design. Then I knew that I wanted to back the whole 8.5 by 11 size layout, which is what I've chosen to scrapbook with again. I'm really loving the size of the layout, and it's sort of helping me get through a little bit of a creative slump, I think. It's reignited my mojo, I guess, in a way. So I've backed that on a paler. I do love my more softer pattern papers, so I've found one of the B-sides of the pattern paper, which was a soft pinky corally colour, and I've backed the whole layout using that. And now what's going to come into play is my use of the ribbons and the washi. So behind my actual photo, which is just, it's around about a 3 by 4-ish size. I didn't measure it exactly. I normally just select my printer and then we'll print it at a certain percentage below a 4 by 6. I can't remember what it was in this case. And I've backed it with one of the journal cards from the journaling pack. I've added a small doily. And now what I'm doing is to sort of ground my photo and all of those layers, I'm going to add some washi and some sequin strips. Now here's my little sort of tip for adding some hidden journaling. I found that really cute Turn the Page ephemera piece in the ephemera pack, and I thought, hey, you know what, like I could use this to hide my journaling and create a little book, I guess. So what I did was I've folded over a piece of white cardstock and then stuck that ephemera piece on top. I've trimmed around the edge, making sure not to trim off that fold, so that once it's adhered on and you open it up, you've got this sort of double page booklet that you can add your journaling to, which when it's closed, no one will be able to read it. So that was my thought behind adding that journaling that I was talking about before. What I'm also doing is adding some fussy cut flowers to the page from that pattern paper that you saw me pull out a couple of minutes ago. And then with my ribbon, I wanted to add a little bit of detail to those strips. So I've added some fishtail ends to the washi and the ribbon, but also with this gorgeous striped ribbon, which is just, it's my favorite out of the pack. It's so bright and bold and fun. I'm making sure that I'm going to actually add some detail with how I adhere it to the page. Before I do that, I want to check whether this gorgeous rose gold sort of washi strip will work on that side, because I did have some of those rose gold elements in the Turn the Page ephemera piece, and then I will bring some more in to tie it in a third time as well. So here you can see that I'm adding a little bit of a gather to that ribbon, and it's just a nice little fun detail. It sort of adds, I suppose, a little pleat to that section, and I love the way that the staples look on a page, even if they're not serving any purpose. They're just a really nice little detail, but in this case they are actually adding that gather to that section. So I've added the rose gold floral piece, and I've stapled down the ribbon. I'm going to add that whole white cardstock piece to the background and stitch around that, which I think that I've just done off camera because I'm folding up the corners. So I don't tend to video, I should say, my sewing anymore, but I'll make sure to mention when I do add some sewing to my page. I felt like my photo needed a little bit of a photo mat. I always print my photos, and I'm loving black and white, but I always print my photos with a white border, and that gives me the chance to add whatever color or pattern or boldness of print that I want as a layer. But in this case, because I've got so much happening on my layer, I decided to choose a more softer green, sort of pale minty green pattern paper behind my photo. I felt like it really needed a layer, but I didn't want it to be too overpowering. So now I'm adding that small 4-inch Cambridge doily, and then I'm going to pop that onto that cute sort of library tab looking card with some foam adhesive. I've also cut a yellow scalloped circle in half that was from one of the ephemera packs, just to add an extra cluster too. So sometimes when I'm creating clusters, especially from the side of the photo, I like to add like a journal tab or something that I can rest all of those pieces on. So you'll see now I'm seeing whether a heart will work on that left side of my photo. I'm looking through the ephemera pack, the puffy stickers, whatever I can sort of find to see what will work. And I do settle on one of the flowers because I've got the fussy cut florals from that 3x4 card I've used as my title around that title area, and then I bought in a few of that same design in that bottom cluster where that Turn the Page book is, and then to the left of my photo. So now I'm working on that bottom sort of area and seeing what I could add to that cluster. Now I've added that bottom cluster just because the page is so top heavy. It's definitely heavy towards the left of the page, so I felt like it needed that little piece down the bottom just to help balance it out. And I do that with a lot of my layouts, is I have a think about where the majority of the layout is sitting, and then try and add something to whichever side is lacking a little bit of detail. I don't tend to fill, I really like clean sort of white space, but I don't tend to fill the whole page with things. What I'm doing now is, this is my sequin portion of this post, and I decided to focus on a more subtle use of the sequins. I was thinking about, maybe I could create a sequin shaker or do something like that to add to the layout. And then I decided that I would just focus on these gorgeous little leaves and use them in a really sort of subtle way, but that they add a really nice effect to those floral pieces. So what I'm doing is painstakingly using my liquid adhesive and a piercer tool just to help me position, and I just added some of those leaves from the sequin pack to some of the sort of gaps of the flowers where I thought leaves could be. So I've added those around where the title is, and I've also added them to the left of the photo where that floral piece is. Now this tool is amazing. Now I don't know what its proper term is or what its actual intended purpose is, but this sells in an Australian store called Delish Scraps, and I don't know if it's still there. I got this quite a number of years ago. It's a sequin picker-upper tool, and it's like a pencil, and you will pop the pencil on the sequin, and the sequin will like static to the end and stick on the end. You can place your adhesive where you want it, but as soon as you pop that sequin and that pencil on top of the adhesive, it will come away from the pencil. It doesn't stay on the pencil. Does that make sense? It is amazing. It was one of those tools when I used sequins a lot that I just loved. So what I did with those little star sequins is I just put them on my page, sort of like a smaller detail, a smaller embellishment, like maybe I'd use an enamel dot, and I've just got a little scattering or grouping of 3 in some cases, or if there's smaller embellishments near there, I've used them in maybe 1 or 2 little pieces. I've also added some fussy cut butterflies, as you can see there, and some smaller fussy cut florals just to sort of to the sides of wherever the clusters are. So there is a bit of layering around those clustered areas with those florals, because the Turn the Page collection has so many gorgeous floral designs that I know that they're going to feature a lot on my pages using it. So now I'm just adding my journaling to the little booklet, and I'm going to show you some close-ups now of how the layout is finished, and then also where I added my date, which you can see there, and then how I've added that journaling into that little booklet. So you could see there that it's not closed. You can open it up with your hand and you can read the journaling. So that's the end of my layout. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed my contribution to the sequins washi and ribbon post, and I'll be back soon with some more shares. Thanks everyone. Bye.